my Lord. Kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya, 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 my Lord. Kumbaya, oh Lord. Kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord, my Lord. Kumbaya, ooh, ooh, ooh. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya, kumbaya, my Lord. Oh Lord, come in, Jesus. Kumbaya.
Yes, greetings, good evening, good night, family. How you doing out there? You now listen to what the man say. Let me say, I'm turn on a yard. You understand? If you turn on a yard and we're only in a yard now, you mustn't hug up and you mustn't socialize other than in ones and twos. Yeah? So the first thing I say you have to do, you have to put out the puss and the dog. Yeah? I mean, I know how this thing are going to work, but we're living in a time right now, precarious as it is, Confucius. Yeah? People are totally being led astray, but nonetheless, them say prevention is better than cure. Yeah? But the one thing we know for sure is the vaccination has not been proven. So the injection right now is not a consideration as an option. Certainly not for we. Yeah? Not for we. If them want to take it, make them take it and make them take with themselves at the same time. Okay? Right, yeah, firstly, I have to give my apology for my absence last week, even though management was able to put something in absence of myself. I arrived back in London somewhat late being more or less 9 o'clock, and I was tired, totally exhausted, because I had driven back from Glastonbury. Okay? Now, I had been fortunate to be able to have stopped at Stonehenge prior to getting to Glastonbury, myself and my small team. In addition to that, there was another 2 minibus, and I think there was also another car. Yeah, so my reason for being there was for the winter solstice, because, as you know, there has been some eclipse, there's been some strange things happening up in the air. And again, for tomorrow, there is an alignment which is taking place of the planets. Yeah, so there's definitely a natural mystic blowing in the air. And who have eyes for see, we see. Yeah, and who want play blind, make them go and play blind. Yeah, but in this time, our eyes need to be open. Yeah, or if not your eyes, then your inner self, your intuition, telepathy. Yeah, all of these things, which is your natural, God-given gift, yeah, needs to be regenerated. Okay, so you may well have noticed as to how the sunshine has been quite bright. Yeah, so we can see quite clearly there are things untowards which are happening out there that it would appear this government don't want us to be aware of. Okay, so they know to a certain extent that their time is up, and they're looking as to how best they can be kicking the can up or down the road for us for the next 400 years or so. Okay? Yeah, so in giving my apology for last week, I was so much looking forward to, because the week previous, they were they were debating this bill in the House, as to making this injection compulsory for we. You understand? But I, myself, and others, we were out there protesting. I was there with my drum, with my colleague, but unforeseen reason, I did get there relatively late. But you know, when you're on a protest thing, it's best that you turn up a little bit late anyway. You understand? Because sometimes people want to set trap fear. You understand? But nonetheless, yeah, turn up a little bit late. My brethren was still there. Yeah, respect to Jeff. And yeah, I joined him. And immediately you just set about with the drums, you know, just spreading some good vibration. Yeah, and the police was already up to their antics. They'd made a few arrests already, you know. But obviously, because I was new on the scene, they had was to, you know, make their observation and then make their decision, you know. But I was moving in that spiritual realm, you know what I'm saying? So I watched them, and before they make them move, me move first. Yeah, so I cite myself by Churchill, and at some stage, yeah, I was like directly playing to him, you know, because he's a defender of this democracy. Yeah, so I was there for a good hour plus, yeah, helping the protesters, linking up with our brother again who was there in his boxing gloves, dancing, and you know, Street Mike was on the scene also. Yeah, so yeah, it was drumming out some good vibration for a good period of time. And then, yeah, they were able to disperse. I think the majority of the crowd was already gone when I got there, being honest. But nonetheless, the only thing that really stopped us was the rain. But spent a little time by Churchill, and then having left by Churchill, went round on the other side of the square where, if you're not aware of, it is where Nelson Mandela stands. Okay, so the latter part of the day I spent with Nelson Mandela, paid my respect, my homage to my ancestors who had no doubt fought the injustice and made his ultimate sacrifice. But for you and I, he has taken a stand in Parliament Square. So whenever time you hear of a protest, be sure that Nelson Mandela stands with you if you stand with him. Yeah. So that was a lesson that I shared with those who had gathered, and we were able to embark on that long walk around the square where we then went and we stood by Nelson Mandela and we played, you know, our thing for a while. I was joined there by a few others that obviously I journeyed with as well. You know, my sister again from I think the Black Panther. Yeah, I made acquaintance with her there. You know what I'm saying? So respect again to yourself. I again saw her, I believe, again in Tottenham on Saturday, you know. But yeah, that was last week or the week before, you know. So my activism continues out in the community, you know. But before we go into it still, you know, because, you know, I'm a person that if you're not too mindful or, you know, I can go on rabbiting. But as I gather my breath, I want to impact on you this number. 079 444 31366. Now that is the number for the studio, and obviously that will enable you to get through to myself. I'm gonna be in the studio on my own this week, but I'm expecting that Mama Essie is gonna be phoning in at some point so we can go over her trip to Glastonbury, and the fact that she traveled with myself, you know, there was the bonus because we were able to stop at Stonehenge, you know, where we breached the fence and we went over and we did what we could given the circumstances. Yeah, but when she does phone in later on, which is around about 8:45, anytime after 8:30, then we will elaborate and we will share our joy, our journey, our experiences from Stonehenge into Glastonbury and the other places to which we had journeyed whilst we were there. And I must say, for myself, it was again like a pilgrimage, yeah, because you know, as some might say, this is where Babylon themselves evoke, yeah, this is where they evoke their ancestral spirits. You understand? So we go there and we just lick them with the bass, You understand? And just tone it down. Yeah. So all that is happening round and about us is because of the good vibration. Yeah. That we have been able to impact. And again, if you are aware, we were in Glastonbury at the rising of the sun, which was the summer solstice. We were there. And it's only fitting that we again were there last week towards the end. Yeah. Because we know the end has come upon them. And as of tomorrow, the alignment of the planets sets its new course. It's a new beginning. So Africa, Africa is calling, calling its people home. You understand, peeps? So circle for this.
Yeah. So it go, you know? So it go. Good friends we've had and good friends we've lost along the way, like the king say, you know? So it go. Give a signs for those who will care to reflect in life. Just open your eyes and see. Hey, don't be blind, no. Remember, only the truth can stand the test of time. So everything shall be revealed. Hey, just wait a while. So arm in arms, we're working very hard, yeah. The more you give, it seems the more the man he wants. Oh yes, we were such good friends, now what have we become? Said I'll have to use good sense, knowledge and wisdom to overstand how man to man can be so unjust. I just don't know who to choose. You can go your way, I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will lead me on. Yes, you go your way, I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will keep me strong, so strong. Now the things are oh so clear, I've got to make a move. Hey, can't sit around, no, no. Friends are few who really care, and yes, I'd be a fool, hey, if I didn't know that. Hey, every action will cause a reaction in my eyes. Said reaction can be a blessing in disguise. So I'll go on and I won't compromise. No, yeah. More strength for the wise. You can go your way, I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will lead me on. Yes, you go your way, and I will go my own. The love of the Almighty Jah will keep me strong. Will keep me strong. Strong. Yeah. Come on. Ain't no jokes, I know. Look at them. Give a signs for those who will care to reflect in life. Open your eyes and see. Hey, don't be blind, no. Remember, only the truth can stand the test of time, and everything shall be revealed. Hey, just wait a while. So arm in arms, we're working very hard, yeah. The more I give, it seems the more the man he wants. Yes, he does. I'm gonna push on to do the things I do. Yes, I will. You can go your way, and I will go my own. Say the love of the Almighty Jah will lead me on. You can go your way.
Yes, family. Yeah, they can go their way, and we have to continue along ours, okay? Because things has now gone full circle, Okay? Right, let me get this thing off and running. So, my respect, greetings to you, my family. How not do? Hope all is fine. I know we are living in hope at the present because, as you see, Christmas and Santa Claus are in tears right now. You understand? Tears to fears. Yeah? So you have to pick and make sense of the nonsense. Yeah? If we follow them, we can't embrace, we can't show love, and we can't live. Yeah? So that decision is still with yourself. Okay? So, first and foremost, my respect to the ancestors on whose shoulders I do stand. To management and engineers for making this program possible. To bless Radio 1, to afford us this blessing, to enable us to know thyself more for the benefit of our community. My respect to the kings and queens out there active in the fight for justice, because with no justice, again, there is no peace. For myself, it's been a very busy week in protests all over, some of which I had supported and been part of the planning. My salute to the soldiers and the generals on the front line, taking the stand, not kneeling nor bowing at this time. Again, respect to the Joy Gardner family for their enduring strength and to those who give their support to their cause. And I must say, particularly for this week, because there's been an incident which I will speak about, I might even play the recording, whereby Graham had been arrested this week. Yeah. Further to that, we've got the ongoing saga with the Windrush generation, who is causing this government an headache, so much so that you know that they've increased the compensation. Not there is any compensation, particularly for those who have already died for the undue duress and stress. Yes, so respect goes out to the family of loved one lost at this time, and for those who again continue to lose loved ones and are not able to embrace each other, to comfort and to mourn. Yeah, so my respect goes out to yourself. I say big respect also for the spirited support for Saturday, which again, community, you know, there was a protest out there on Saturday. It was for a good cause. Myself, I ended up passing through with my Johns. I didn't see the generals that obviously I'm looking out for, but nonetheless, I took a stand for a period of time, hoping that the youths they would have turned out in droves, but it didn't really happen to that extent. But nonetheless, for those of us who was there, I salute you, yeah, and that it can only get better when we are under bigger orders, yeah. Again, in regards to the traveling or going to Glastonbury, I have to say manners and respect goes out to Galactic Clyde as well as Auntie Jean from the Garvey village. And again, maximum respect, my sister, that's Solutionary 007. I haven't seen much action this week, but I trust that all is well with yourself. And again, I pay my respect to Vasco, Stevenson, Douglas Williams' family, as well as Lady Leo, you know, whose obviously chair is here, you know, as well as our good brother Dougie, you know. So the struggle continues, you know, and we have to go near strength, you know, for those fallen soldiers, you know, who have made the ultimate sacrifice, yeah, to enable myself, you know, not only to take a seat, you know, but again, to be able to take a stand in the continuation of the struggle. Yeah. Now, as I had said before, I apologize for my absence last week, but I came back totally exhausted. Yeah, having driven, you know, stopped at Stonehenge, into Glastonbury, did all the formalities in Glastonbury, was it Chalice Well, and after the Chalice Well, climbing the mountain or the hill in order to get up to the Thor. Yeah, but the blessing was again on the descent. On the descent, I was able to um, call on a tree and to get some mistletoe, which I brought back and I've shared with friends as well as with families, you know. So doing the winter solstice drumming, which again is calling on our ancestors for their support at this time, because the time to which we are in at the moment, as you know, well aware, is quite uncharted. Yeah, because right now you listen to the government, them tell you say you must tanner your yard. Yeah, but Father God said the house is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And in his house there is many mansions. You know what I'm saying? So you have to just know who your God is in this time, you know. So yeah, again, I say Monday. This week was so busy. Like on Monday, I think it was Monday was more or less a recovery, but you see Tuesday and Wednesday, I was in Wellingborough. Yeah, I went to collect some drums. I collected a total of 50 drums over the course of the 2 weeks. The first day I just went just to familiarize myself to see what there was. Drove the car. And then the second day I was blessed to have had my virgin Jeff come in his van. So everything was then able to go in the van. And then in addition to that, I went and I called on Julio Gomez's family because that's where Julio family lives. For those of you who don't know who Julio is, Julio was that young man that was killed in Jubilee Park last year. Yeah, hashtag 107, which is on your T-shirt. For those of you who have the T-shirt that says "Enough is enough" and on the front saying "To Ross." Yeah, so I was able to, they say, kill two birds with one stone. So I spent a little time, and then more interestingly, or more exciting, is I was able to meet his daughter and his twin sons that were at school at the time. So I wasn't fortunate to be blessed in meeting and greeting all of them. Yeah. So that was on Tuesday. And again, as I've said, the benefit is I've got an additional 52 drums, which I collected there and then, courtesy of Mr. Atsu Awuna. I forgot the name of his drumming school that he had, but Mr. Awuna now resides in Ghana. The significance of Mr. Awuna insofar as this community is that he was the drummer or is that team that had actually played and guided our then MP Bernie Grant into Alexandra Palace, which I was privileged because at that time I was a councillor and I went down there in the mayor's car with the then mayor, and I was seated behind the family, and I saw Classford up on the stage. I saw Lee, Jasper, some of the generals obviously were there in support as well as the community. Yeah. Well, what Mr. Awuna has done is that he's made these drums available to myself under the umbrella of the 1,000 Drum Ancestral Salute. So I'd like to share this with you. We've got an additional 5 schools where there is over 200 drums at our disposal. So the 1,000 drum, even though it seems like a far-fetched figure, yeah, you can see already we're almost halfway there. And that's just from my side of the contribution towards. So my good brother Dougie, his insight was very inspirational, and I continue to salute him for that. Yeah. So that basically was Tuesday and Wednesday. On Thursday, I was with Mom, that's Myrna Simpson, as well as Graham. And we spent the time doing some shopping, some laundry and things like that. Managed to get some time to reason with Graham, And surprising to me now, this was on Thursday. Friday, I think there was some time out either. But on Saturday, unfortunately, I was awoken around about 1:30 in the morning by Graham's nan, Myrna, who is Joy Gardner's mother, to say that Graham had been arrested and in Wood Green Police Station. Yeah, so my Saturday morning was spent at Wood Green Police Station. I wasn't able to see Graham, but I did do a recording which I've shared with some of you out there in the public domain, as well as on WhatsApp. And I wasn't able to establish even what he was charged with because the police, they weren't telling me anything. Everything they wanted to do via phone, you know. But fortunate for me, I had one of those ancient phone that is not too smart. You understand? So I used that number, I gave them that number, they phoned me back. I think they was hoping to be able to get into my phone and take out what they want to. But you see, because they are so predictable, yeah, and that's why again I'm encourage listeners out there that on a downgrade on a phone, yeah, because the phone them too smart, them have them means of tracking us, yeah. But that was a Saturday morning. However, I was told that he was due to appear at Ivory Magistrates Court at 10:30. So I went home, I got some sleep, and I went there. And he was released back to us, our charge, round about quarter to 12. Yeah, so quarter to 12 he was bailed. They said that he assaulted couple policemen, and this assault come by the way of him spitting. Yeah, and that is the situation. So we left from there, and because of the timing, we was able then to go on to Tottenham, where I know that a protest was already in the process. So we joined the protest, and this protest, as you should be aware, was where a police had assaulted a minor outside Parkview School in Tottenham. Myself, I was there the Friday before protesting by way of a march from Parkview to Tottenham Police Station playing the drum, where my colleague had joined me, and they then set about was to go back the other way, but I wasn't going to march that down the hill again, you know. So I took a stand there, and yeah, well, everything else unfolded. So this week was a repeat. I was somewhat concerned in that he was doing the same thing all over again at such a short period of time. I couldn't see what the aims and the objectives were, but nonetheless, I did turn up there. Street Mike was there. Black Life Matters, one of the main man himself was there. I saw a number of speakers who spoke. Yeah, I commend you for that, you know. But again, I'm at a point now where I kind of done with the talking, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but that's just the way I am at the moment. You know, there comes a time when the talking has to stop, you know. So yeah, where I am at the moment, quite clearly, you know, my viewpoint is what do you say? Because I believe the government and the system are on an idiot thing right now. It's causing confusion on the land. Yeah, people don't know if they're coming there or if they're going. Businesses don't know if they're coming or if they're going. Also, you know, so we're in a time where it's really and truly strange to me to fathom out and to understand, you know. But again, we can then say that maybe as of tomorrow, when the planets align themselves, that there may well be some clarity, yeah, to all of this madness that is presently going on. But what I do know, as a community, we need to put our efforts more so as a collective. And for that reason, I think that's why then it is so important that the generals now cooperate and operate as one. Yeah. So I'm hoping that will be one of the outcome, yeah, from the experience that I have seen, particularly with what Graham has had to go through, yeah. So what I think I'll try and do, listeners, I'm gonna try and see if I can get to play some of the content of what had occurred on on Saturday from the mouth of Graham himself. Yeah. So if you bear with me, I will, because I thought it was important. Being honest with you, Graham was to be in the studio, but you know where him say the people them say him fit him yard, so he needs to be observing that also. You understand? So
Yeah, we've just stepped out of
yeah, so
the
I'm gonna be
library
playing this.
courthouse. Yeah, so we're gonna make our way. We're gonna make our way back up.
Right, so just bear with me and see what I can do on this. Let me just get this thing
Say
out.
what happened, so you got it on record.
Get this thing out right.
Yeah, so obviously they handcuffed me and all of that, and cut out my hand. But obviously when the nurse come now, she asked if I wanted to
Okay.
state if I wanted to report it. So I said, yeah, of course. And then about an hour later, the sergeant called to speak to me now. So then obviously I've gone to speak to the sergeant, and he's gone. He said apparently when the nurse come to see me, it looked like I had something sharp in my hand. So I'm like, what do you mean? I never had nothing in my hand. And then they brought me into the next room and strip searched me and put me back in the cell. That was it.
And that was it. Okay, so
I figured out when I was sitting there, after I thought about the situation and I figured out what they did. So they done a chess move. So just so that she doesn't report this,
yeah,
they've got her, or told her to say what she said, which is, she thought she saw something sharp or something.
Okay, to say you might
self-harm. Self-harm, that's what they were going on about.
Okay.
But that was not the case, and I've never ever done that.
Yeah,
So where does this come from?
as to whether she would want to.
She snaked the thing. They snaked the thing. Because she was on the thing, like, yeah, do you want me to report it for you? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then all of a sudden, this.
And
The
at
snake.
what point was that? Was that before I came to the station at Woodbury?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I think
So at what time were you arrested?
I was arrested in the morning about after 10 or something.
On Friday.
I just left my bedrooms and I was going to my yard. And obviously,
They held you all this time without a charge.
yeah, until
Okay, so at what
last
point did they charge you?
night.
When did they charge you?
Last night sometime. I don't know what the time was, but
Okay, so when I came there, what was your charge then? Because I wasn't sure.
what did they charge me?
Yeah, what they charge you for? Because even when I spoke to Classwood this morning, it was kind of embarrassing because I know you mentioned about spitting, but there wasn't a charge. It's like the police, they couldn't tell me what they charged you with.
Yeah, because they were stalling it out. It's like they couldn't. They were stalling. Huh? Yeah, sure. They were stalling it out. They couldn't find because there's nothing charged. I didn't do nothing, fam.
Yeah, I know, but they now have to justify
Why they holding me?
Why they holding you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They got to justify
Yeah.
it, and they
You
may
I'm
not
gonna
have.
spit in a policeman's face. Am I stupid?
Yeah, it makes no sense, but it's a justification, especially with this COVID.
Yeah.
moment.
They pulled that card.
Yeah, this COVID thing. They say it's like
They
the most
definitely pulled that card.
dangerous thing a man can do right now is spit
Spit.
on a man.
And obviously in the interview, two women, they were alright as well, with reason. And they said, one guy spat at the police officer and he got 10 weeks because of the COVID thing. In jail.
Okay, so So they're trying to make you know fearful as
Yeah.
to consequence of whatever they would say.
I won't bother
That's
about
idiot.
that because I ain't
That's
afraid of
idiotic, man.
nothing to do with these pussy hoes. They don't bother me. But but even if, like I was saying to myself, worst case scenario, even if they put me in jail, yeah, for this bullshit, it's gonna be a walk in the park. Cause how long can they really give me? Yeah, and then it will, you know what I'm saying? It'll be a minor. It'll just be a waste of time and an inconvenience, which I don't need.
Yeah, well, it's
But
all
it wouldn't. I
foolishness.
wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have shattered my world at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, mum
Yeah,
told me last night. She phoned me.
Yeah.
Something to do. You know. So why did that took so long for you was to phone Nan?
Cause I actually thought they were just gonna let me out.
Let you out?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
what's
you
the
hadn't
point in
done
telling man that?
anything.
Yeah, I ain't done that. No point in telling man that. Cause I know, you know what Granny's like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was with her. She worries all the time.
Yeah, this is it.
You know?
So that's it. I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking after, cause they showed me the video. You can clearly see I'm blowing wind, brother. That's it. I gave the police officer a telling off. They've stopped the man. So when the police officers revealed to me why, you know the reason is because the man was riding his bike in the wrong bicycle lane or something. And they're getting his details, trying to give the man a fine for that. And the man's a foreigner. So he don't understand. He's just riding his bike, brother. So they're taking advantage of the man that don't understand nothing. So obviously I've seen that. Obviously I could have kept it moving. I wouldn't be in this position.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
interfered.
So I intervened.
You said
Yeah.
intervene, but them say interfere.
interfere with the thing, and yeah, and all it was, cause I gave him a telling off, and I blew. He felt his ego got the best of him. That's all that was. Yeah, it cut him up deep,
Teach you a lesson.
and I'm a black man as well, so it's like what now? So then my man's ran me there, and I'm going gone.
He's running you down.
Yeah, me gone, I cut. I'm going up the road. He's run me down after. He delayed it. It's like he thought about it. He said, hold on. That's what happened. Because if I spit in your face as an officer, immediately I'm on the floor. It's a wrap. You understand? You've delayed. Had a quick time to think. No, I thought, he can't do that. I thought, I'm a police officer. And then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, again,
And you know what? Jesus. From the van to me getting put through for the what do you call it there? When they charge you.
the detention.
Yeah. I cut him up so bad. His whole shit. He turned into a mouse. Because I made him feel so small for what he done.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, I embarrassed him in front of the whole colleagues, all of them. They were all quiet. No one said nothing to me, and I'm just chatting, just cussing him. No one said nothing, not one word, blood.
So is he a London Bobby, as he
So
like
he's-
to have come from abroad or something?
I don't know, he might be a London guy, but tell you what, he's gonna, I don't know, his consciousness that's gonna play on his thing for a minute. He fucked with the wrong person, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, you and I know that.
You
I'm
understand?
saying, but his career might be tarnished because he needs to go back to school.
This is what I'm trying to say. And I've told him, I said, listen, I told these colleagues, I said, listen, after work, yeah, you need to talk to this man because his brain is not functioning properly. The way he polices is incorrect. You're not, you get me? I made it clear. And I've said, so they couldn't tell me nothing. No one could say nothing. They just had to listen. Because the way I put it is just common sense. Yeah?
He got it totally wrong.
Yeah. And I broke it down, and he didn't know where to look, and he just fucked. He fucked up.
Yeah, because he now makes the rest of his colleagues look bad.
Yes. And I said to him, listen, mate, I'm going to be out of here by tomorrow, regardless, yeah? I will never see none of you lot again. You have to come to work and see these people every day, yeah? I put it to him on that kind of frequency there, bro. And he fucked up. And I told him I was dropping it like, listen, because took time for me to get to the thing, you know? So I was dropping these ones like, listen, now's your time to be honest, yeah? You can go to the desk right now and tell the truth. I said, listen, I didn't have a christening, but I said my little nephew was christening at 2 o'clock.
Hello?
Greetings, brother. Hello.
Okay, hold on, just a moment.
Now's your chance to do
Just a
it,
moment.
bruv. If you got any dignity, go and tell the truth.
Yeah, family, we'll have to
And
come
he
back
just
on this, yeah? We'll
nods, crumpets,
see us
because he
how we
knows
got at the end, yeah? Okay,
It's true
bless.
what I'm saying. It's not like I'm chatting shit. So his guilt is eating him up.
Yeah, hello?
Greetings, brother.
Okay,
I'm
hold
hearing
on.
myself back. I'm hearing the echo. I'm hearing myself.
Okay, is that any better?
Hello?
Is that
Yes.
better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, just give me a minute. Let me just apologize to the listeners out there. Yeah, listeners, just a little apology. I was playing you back a recording which I'd made with Graham, who was to have been in the studio, but because of where him say Boris is saying that you must stand at your yard, and the fact that he's on bail, it would have been irresponsible of me to have him in the studio. Yeah, but nonetheless, I did speak as towards Mama Essie phoning in, so she's actually on the line. So let me welcome you, my sister, and you're
Thank you.
obviously upholding what Boris has said by staying in your house.
That's right. Yes. That's
Okay,
right, brother.
okay. Well,
Yes.
let us at least share your joy and your journey, and also we are blessed in having your company because again, because of all that is transpiring tomorrow with the planetary alignments, that you be able to expand and elaborate and bring us up to speed with everything. So yeah, welcome back into the studio with the listeners. So yeah, I'm taking you've had a good day.
Yes, I have, and thank you for inviting me back again, brother. And good evening to all the listeners. And yeah, the day has been good. Definitely feeling the energies of the build up. Definitely.
Okay. And now
Yeah.
are you making yourself ready to be transformed? Because I mean, what's going to happen when these planets align themselves?
Well, what is happening tomorrow is what we call it's a grand conjunction between the two heavyweights. They call them generational planets, as Jupiter and Saturn. And every 20 years, they meet up in a particular sign.
How
And
many
they set
years?
every 20 years.
Every 20 years.
Every 20 years, they meet up in a sign. But within everything, like when I came the last time, we were talking about within cycles, there are cycles and there are cycles. So within this 20-year period, there's another greater cycle which goes into a 200-year cycle of
Okay.
where these planets meet up in a particular sign. That's a particular element. So what's been happening in the past 200 years is that they've been meeting up in Earth signs, astrological zodiac Earth signs, which are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, with one exception in the 1980s.
Okay.
They've
Well, I'm
been
a Virgo. Does that bode well?
okay. Well, they would have met at some point in stage during that period. So yes. So that is one cycle, the 200-year cycle, and then it goes into another greater year cycle with 800 years. And so the last time that this cycle converged when they were happening in air signs, this what is ushering tomorrow is going to be the next 200-year cycle where they're going to be meeting in air signs, starting tomorrow in the sign of Aquarius. So the
Aquarius.
air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So we're going into like a different age, as it were. So we're coming from a more earthly-based age, and we're going into more technological, air sign, air-dominated ideas, information, I say technology. So it's kind of a different ascension. And the last time this happened, in this conjunction where they're happening tomorrow, they call it the star of the Christmas star, because these two planets are going to, from our vantage point in Earth, it's going to be the closest, the nearest that they've been to Earth since, I think, 1226, about 800 years, when they happen to fall again into these air signs. So it's a very special period in time, and it's a very special solar heavenly phenomena that we're going to be seeing tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we're not going to get to see this again for another this close and this near to us, and also with the naked eye. Also, people can see it with binoculars or telescopes if they have it, but you will be able to see it in the naked eye from
Okay,
around.
so are you saying we'll be able to see it with the naked eye?
If we know where to look, yes.
Okay, so how is that going to work if the politicians are telling us we must stay in our house?
Well, if we have back gardens, we have, back gardens, we've got balconies, and we are allowed out for exercise, so people can walk to certain vicinities or just even outside their yard if they're, lucky to be angled in a position where they'll be able to see it. So, there's sites online, so, or there's also apps. There's these astronomical apps that can also they connect to your phone's location, and they'll even be able to give an indication of where to look.
Okay.
The night sky.
Okay.
So we can all kind of navigate, even in this lockdown situation, from the vicinity of our homes or close to our homes. We can find it, and it'll be from 4:30 where the sun goes down, and between 6:37.
4:30 to 6:30.
6:37. 6:37 is when they're going to skew like a star. So when we look at it in the night sky, it's going to look like a big bright star, big massive bright star.
Bright star. Okay, right. You had mentioned earlier in one of the things that you mentioned a Christmas star. So why is it a Christmas star?
Well, because tomorrow it's falling on the winter solstice, that's what makes it even more special. And the winter solstice is a astronomical significant day, of where the sun appears it's at its lowest point. And then from this period, it's gonna start to ascend. So it's almost like the sun stands still or it dies, and then within 3 days, on the 25th and the 25th, which is when we usually have Christmas, and that is when it's going to start to rise back up again, and then every degree until we reach the equinox, the spring equinox. That's when we're going to, in the northern hemisphere, things are going to start to get in the daytime, where we're emerging back into light. So right now we're in the period of darkness, winter, and so this merges like this heralds the birth of the sun. And in the biblical stories, in the Bible, so we have the story of the three magi, the three wise men, who were probably astrologers. They followed the star to the east. That's right, to guide them to where baby Jesus, who happened to, the code reference for the sun, was being birthed. So in a lot of these biblical stories, and in that story is a lot of astronomical data and science coded in story form.
Okay, it sounds as if you're saying the sun was not the Christ, but the sun itself.
And that's right. Christ represents that sun.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping the listeners had picked up on that point there. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for that so far. So yeah, do continue before I take you back to Glastonbury.
Okay. So again, so that's the whole Christmas stuff. So again, this happening in this time this year, it's special. And when these two planets meet like this, they're called generational and societal change planets. They usher in the period. So for the next 20 years, they coincide in the sign of Aquarius. And the sign of Aquarius represents humanity, ideas, group thinking, moving forward, the next leap, it's like the whole brotherhood of man. Okay. But at the same time, these planets represent different energies. So Jupiter is expansion, optimism, goodwill, hope, and then Saturn is discipline, constriction, limitation, and but Saturn as well, Saturn gets kind of a bad rap. It's considered like a gloomy, whereas Jupiter is considered bright and boisterous and everything great. Saturn is considered to be doom and gloom, things that's going to be bad and going to limit and restrict us. And what has been happening is that, as we see, we're living under a period of extreme restriction because the energies of Saturn has been tapped in by the authorities to obviously limit movement, limit social contact, social integration. All this social distancing is a form of Saturn in Aquarius. It's people being segregated and separated from each other. And just before this Tier 4 lockdown came in, people were being given hope and optimism by the government, telling us we will be able to meet, to infuse and come together, have a Christmas. The restrictions were going to be lifted for a period of time. So it's giving people hope. People thinking, there's some light at the end of the tunnel, even for a period of time, a couple of days. And then zilch, just like that, yesterday, just before this conjunction, that Jupiter energy is taken away and Saturn is, boom, implementing back again.
Yeah,
so
well...
that is the astrology saying out.
Yeah, well, what I've done there is I've shared it with the listeners that insofar as Christmas and Santa are concerned, it's like they're now in tears. So it's like we're all crying.
They certainly are, 2526. They are. They're made redundant.
Redundant. But the hope is obviously in the Christmas star in itself that you've mentioned.
That's right, ascension, and the star is always to give light and hope.
Yeah.
And so temporarily, I mean, there is going to be a tussle, and this is going to be, we're in for a rocky, hard time. There's no getting away from it. But within that time frame as well, we can take the energies, what these energies that the planets represent, and this new dawn, as it were, it's a time where we can take optimism, because Jupiter also represents higher learning, aspiring for more knowledge, greater knowing and understanding. So we can take them to greater understand ourselves, our world, and then implement it with the ideas in a think tank of what group solidarity and cohesion represents. And we can take the energy of Saturn to help mobilize us, discipline us, help to manifest whatever our dreams and our ideas and ideals are, and bring that to help create and mold the next type of reality that we want, and not to necessarily be dictated by a so-called great reset that may not necessarily be for the greater good of most of mankind.
Okay, well...
So this is a period where mankind has to start to take control and see how they want to see things as well, so always being dictated upon.
Okay, well, that sounds as if obviously we need to revert back to our true nature.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we need to reconnect, obviously, to get to better understand the astrological signs and where they are pointing us, because mankind is totally confused, because that's evident with the government. One moment they had our hopes up, and suddenly it's dashed in a manner where and they've even created a new tier. Yeah,
That's
we was
right.
talking about 1, 2, 3. Suddenly they come up with a new tier. Yeah, and they've left us now thinking, well, after 4, then naturally there's 5. So 5 must be when the injection comes. Or more so when the injection comes. But let me not let you lose your school of thoughts. Continue to educate, because I'm taking notes, and I'm hoping the listeners are doing likewise.
No, that's fine, and everything that you said has been on point, Buzzer, because it is about navigating, because the astrological signs, the zodiac, the stars, constellations, they're all sign maps, they're all heavenly road maps to help lead us back to ourselves and have that understanding and connect us in relation to Earth and to the greater cosmos, because sometimes we're very disconnected from each other, from up there. How many of us really sometimes take the time a lot of times we don't know what moon cycle, what phase that even the moon is in, which is, the most visible planet near us that we can kind of always see and tap in. Because we're so busy living life, on the go, rushing, we doesn't give us that time just even be to feel connect with nature, connect with ourselves, and connect with the greater cosmos as well, which is all part and parcel of everything. So that's why one of the sciences of astrology is kind of so key and so great to learn and understand. Because it's not something out there. You see it being played out every day, in real time, in people, in government, in politics, economics, everything you name it, astrology plays its part and has its part in its creation and in its how it works. So that is just one of the keys, just looking up. And what is so great about all of this, I've noticed this year, is that due to this lockdown, it's gotten more and more people into astrology. Because so many things have been happening astrologically. So many things, like we had the eclipse last week, the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse. There's been so many things happening, and more and more people are getting interested in, via social media, online. There's like a burst of YouTube channels, blogs, all giving out information about astrology, the signs, where the planets are. And particularly with this alignment tomorrow, so much people now that wouldn't have probably ordinarily heard about all of these had we probably not been in the times that we're in, and in this lockdown wouldn't have known. They probably would have got a little snippet in the newspaper, if that. And people have gone about their business. But because of where we're at, what this year has how this year has played out, it's made people stop to look and to, wonder and question and be more informed about what's going on up there and how it's affecting us down here and how we can tap into those energies.
Yeah, well, again, that is so much on point, because I think we all are more than just curious now, because there has been so many eclipse, whether it's moon, the sun, everything seems to be happening out there. And again, even you mentioned in Aquarius, it takes us back to one of Bob's a renowned tune, which is there's a natural mystic blowing in the air, and a lot of us are not aware. We know it is happening out there because of this coronavirus, but now it's like it's now in your face and you're looking, but you can't see it because it is just in the air, But it's to understand it, and the only way we can understand it and put some sense to it is to understand as to how the stars, the moon, and all the planets impacts on our lives. Oftentimes in the past, we've always had the interpretation of our birth sign through the stars. And we just left it to individuals. But these are things that we ought to know for ourselves by being able to relate to our nature. But it's like we put our true nature in the hands of other forces, in particular human forces,
That's right. That's right. And funny that it's good actually that you mentioned Bob Marley, because Bob Marley was a sun sign Aquarius, so he was an Aquarius. And his whole being and everything, if you want to understand even the sign of Aquarius, or how a person who's an Aquarian trait functions and operates, it's, check out Bob Marley, the messages in his songs, what he sang about, one love, the unity, revolution, because also Aquarius is a sign of revolution. It's a sign of, when tearing down, when something has come to its natural climax, natural end, how you're going to build up and revolutionize and create something new and something different. And so a lot of Bob, and usually also Aquarians are ahead of their time. Most Aquarians are kind of, because they think outside of the box. So the things that kind of come from the ideas, the things that they will say, to many people might think that they're crazy, they're talking out of their minds, what are you saying? But because sometimes they tap in like further and they can see further and greater field than the rest of us, we have to kind of catch up. So they come and they kind of trailblaze and they drop the seeds and they drop the messages, and in time, when it's ready to germinate, people start picking up and understanding, that's what they were talking about, that's what they meant, that's what that's where they were going with it. And Bob Marley was one of those kind of great spirit trailblazers that came. Herald, herald the times. We're finding ourselves in that.
Well, again, I'm sure a lot of the listeners weren't aware as to his star or him being Aquarian, because we've just, in part, just absorbed his music, not knowing, that his influence comes from the planets and the forces, the natural forces which are around it. Even though it does say natural, we probably didn't pick up on it. Him to say it was God given, it was driven. He was just expressing himself by opening up his mouth and allowing that spirit to just flow. So
Which
again,
is
that is very interesting.
yes, and I find out, especially on social media these past couple of months, a lot of Bob's songs has been kind of, being circulated, and particularly there's a natural mystic flowing in the air. And, I thought, wow, that's interesting. It's all like, again, everything happens. It's not by chance, not by coincidence.
By coincidence.
We kind of ride the wave with the energy without always realizing what we're riding the wave on. So when we listen to these songs, when it's being circulated, there's a message coming from the heavens, coming from that sphere that connects our consciousness to that, and that's what's happening. There's a natural mystic flowing in the air. And even, like his song...
Redemption song.
Yes, redemption song, exactly.
Yeah,
Redemption
yeah.
song.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Exactly. A lot of what he spoke about, it's dealing with the mind, and again, because Aquarius is an air sign, it deals with the mind. So a lot of all that was in, again, mental slavery, tapping your, getting off the shackles from the mind. The three little birds. Birds, they're creatures of the air, of flight, So, and birds are also messengers. So within nature, so all of that, again, that's an air sign. That's attributed to an air sign, Aquarius. And also in the age of the last age of Aquarius, this might sound a bit crazy. Around 12, 26, around that region, that time frame. He had Francis of Assisi. You had a Francis of Assisi, brother?
Yeah, say that again.
Francis of Assisi. He was one of these saints.
You'll have to spell that for me, because
Francis. Francis of Assisi. I think it's A-S-S-I-S-I-S. I have to double.
Assisi.
Yes. Francis, yeah. And he was, you have Dr. Dolittle. The movie Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy, where he was talking with the animals.
Yeah.
And so Francis of Assisi, the story was that he was communicating telepathically, and he understood the language of the animals. And what that kind of means also, again, when you go past, it's not crazy. We allegedly had that link, where we were able to communicate and telepathically connect with nature and animals. And again, so certain things, when they go, they'll come back again. And so now it's when I was studying astrology, one of the lecturers actually said that, and we all kind of thought she was crazy when she came out of it. But when you kind of go more into it, you understand what she was trying to say in that how we look at it. There'll be more sciences and more things coming out as well, where we will see, like from animals or from the animal kingdom or from nature, how we can tap back in and learn certain things and be driven to go forward with new technology, and to also help people, help children, young people with disabilities who have difficulty communicating, because language is a form of communication. So there's going to be these kind of revolutionary things we're going to look to help, take a kind of quantum leap to help those disadvantaged.
Yeah, for compensate for their lacks. Well, again, I mean, I'm embracing and taking on board totally what you've said there, because we've got IT, which is information technology, which, again, if you take it on board, it's also about intuition as well as telepathy.
That's right, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So immediately, in just having that conversation, I've been able to formulate, and I can say, yeah, that really resonates, and it makes sense, more sense now that you've made it, and obviously it's more simplified. So I can understand it, and then it explains itself even with the babes and sucklings now. You've seen children, not even 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was with my granddaughter today, and she's got her phone with the app, which is enabling, say, her mum to engage with her in her absence, but on a level which my granddaughter is comfortable with, and then she and I now is sitting down and she's showing me, and I don't even really understand, I mean, she's showing me,
Oh, that's it. Oh, wow.
she's
I
showing
know that
me.
it's incredible, and a lot of these children being born out, they're just on a different, they're on a different
Oh
level. They
my
just
God.
they just pick up with this naturally. They're just
Yeah, they just pick
intuitive.
up on it naturally because of their intuition.
That's right. That's right.
You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But
It's just,
because she doesn't speak, then I have to try and interpret it then
yeah.
what it is she's saying, and that's where the telepathy comes in, because
Ah,
she might not
exactly.
understand what I'm saying, but again, because of
Mhm.
how we interact, yeah,
Mhm.
she will understand, so
Beautiful.
yeah, it comes about in its own natural way, so again, it's let's say and it is a beginning and the end. Yeah, because
Yes. Yes.
obviously I'm now a granddad, and she's at the start of her journey, and I'm at the end of my
Mhm.
journey. Yeah, and
Oh,
it's one
that's
thing I've learned from effective parenting, that there are different stages of our development. So I can acknowledge. I say like I'm at the top of the mountain. So even like when you see we go up the Thor,
mhm.
which again it was quite a climb. Yeah, the
Mhm.
pleasure when you
Yeah.
go up there,
Yeah.
yeah, easy
And the
coming
challenge.
down, but because of the joy
Yeah.
having gone up there, next time you would
Yeah.
go up there without even thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a challenge, but yeah, it's true. It's
Yeah.
true, and it no, it's like there was a program on TV just a couple of days ago. It was that incredible story of a little it was a little boy, and I think it was called it was on Channel 5, The Boy Who Grew a Brain, and it was about a little boy, and he was born with a condition called spina bifida,
Actually, I
and
think I did see a little
yeah.
bit of that program.
Yeah, it was fascinating. He's such a little blessing, and he was such a joy and inspiration. Basically, so whilst he was in the womb, because due to the spina bifida, he had a lot of fluid pressed in on in his brain. So when he was born, they had to put a bigger hole and put something called a stent into his brain to go down his abdomen to drain out the fluid. And basically, the medical establishment didn't give him much hope that it was going to be. They did an operation to fuse his spine together, but he was still going to be left paralyzed, unable to walk. But they didn't give him much hope regarding his mental abilities. And he's had amazing parents who just didn't give up any hope, and they were like, once their child is here, he's going to have a chance. And they put so much, like when you're talking about effective parenting, they started brain training him, and they dedicated their whole lives in that short space. So it was like 2 years just getting him to do things, to talk, to understand his cognition. And when he'd go back to the hospital, and they were just amazed that this little boy was talking, he was cognizant, he was, developing, and they found that his brain, they'd done a scan of his brain when he was 3, and 80% of his brain had come back, had grown back,
Recovered.
it literally grown. So it was just amazing. I was watching it, just showing how the wonder of life, nature, and there's always hope.
Hope.
And with love, encouragement, nurturance, miracles, and and sometimes it's even really it's miracles, but it's because he came to show what is possible when you kind of give up hope, or what medical establishment think is. There's always that hope, and you can just rewrite everything. Nothing is ever fixed. When it comes to the brain, there's like they call it neuroplasticity. It can always, there's hope. It can
Okay.
always reignite itself.
Okay. All right. Well, what direction should we go on from here? Do we want to deal with what's going to be happening more so tomorrow, or would you like to share your journey, yeah, of last week, with our listeners? Because historically, we stopped at Stonehenge, so I'm gonna ask of you what's the significance of
Uh,
Stonehenge, because
well,
we stopped, and because it obviously
quickly.
plays a part in even
Yeah.
today and what is happening tomorrow, you know.
That's right. Well, Stonehenge is one of the megalithic monuments, and it's amazing. It's a magnificent megalith to behold. And again, it's like a sundial. It's like we saw that. I mean, a lot of science doesn't fully understand. It's just like the pyramids of Giza, how these big stones were constructed and taken. They say some of them they were ships or brought over from Wales, but they were there, and the ancients put them there for a purpose. And so the purpose, and Stonehenge is one of these sites that many people go to make pilgrims during the summer and the winter solstice because of where the sun hits and comes through at those points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the saddest things, that many people are not going to be able to connect with that tomorrow. And this year, because people weren't, I don't think, able to go to Stonehenge in the summer either. So that's one of the key things. But again, it's a mystical site, and it's linked with the alignment of the Earth grid. Probably it was probably erected at a particular ley line point. Mm-hmm. And all of that, particularly the southwest region of England, going from in that region of Somerset, from Stonehenge to Glastonbury, it's a great power point, and even Glastonbury is linked to a ley line. And they say that Glastonbury is connected to the heart chakra of the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why it's so spiritual. And I feel that most people that go there, it does something to you, and you feel the force. You feel, and what I felt, I think, last week, which I went there earlier on in the summer earlier this year also, is just the love energy. You do feel like open, a connection to the heart. You feel connected to people, irrespective of even the ways and everything like we saw. There's just like a unity, and it opens you up. And I think when you go there, it changes. It does something to you, and it's meant to. And it's opening up the heart chakra. It's aligning with the heart chakra and the heart ley line point of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, as you know, when we set off on our journey, and I have to count my blessing in that we journeyed together. Whilst we were driving, it wasn't predetermined that we were going to stop. We know that we would have seen it, and I thought that may well have been the best that we would have been able to achieve. But having seen the opportunity was to stop, and then having stopped, and then to breach the fence, and then we as a collective was able to then go on that soil, on that preserved area. I mean, that was all awesome. So, and then to have it captured, yeah. I'm still reliving that, because having left that site, it's as though we could have just turned back, because we had achieved what others had not been able to. So what was your feeling? I mean, having got on the other side of that fence, I mean, I know that
Well, we went around, brother. We did kind of go around, so it is open to the public anyway. So it's something that we wasn't, it was open to the public. But just being there, it's just beautiful, isn't it? It's just magical, and just all around it, there's just that peace. You just felt the spirit and the force around there,
Okay. Well, it was a good experience, no doubt. It's my first time being there, but it's always fitting and better when you can get somebody is there to explain the significance, impart the history, and to a certain extent the role that it forms in our psyche. So yeah, it was really nice to have been in your company as well, and then to journey on.
Thank you, brother, and likewise as well. Likewise, it was amazing, because I we didn't think we were gonna even probably just see it, or probably pass it. So it was amazing. It's something that I would like to go back and when it opened back up again, I would love to get there on a solstice day, because it's meant to be really amazing if you're able to see that. But I don't know when they're going to open it up to the public on those days again. But obviously, I suppose when the lockdown restrictions lift, and it's when we open back up to the public.
I don't know when that's likely to be again, because I know the government's made proposal to put a tunnel underneath, and that road that we drove on, that's going to be closed.
Wow.
You
Yes,
know,
I heard
so
something about
I
that.
don't know as to how and when that's going to be, because there are forces which are trying to make that no longer possible.
That is just crazy. That is just crazy. And I just feel that it's just the energy and the power of that place is just too powerful, and too many people love it. It's a heritage site.
Hmm.
I think there's going to be a big. I hope there's going to be a big battle to preserve that. That's just it's mental because it's a sacred site. It's one of their World Heritage sites. So why they would just totally desecrate it like that, or even think to try to desecrate it, is absolute madness. Absolute madness. And I hope they have a rethink
Yeah, well, I
seriously
hope
before
so.
Aboriginal.
I hope
Yeah,
so also.
because it will
Okay,
upset the balance of the frequencies, and no, they don't want to be troubling and tampering with those
tampering
sacred
with it.
lands and sites. Mm-mm.
Okay, okay. Well, let us leave Stonehenge. Yeah, let's go into town. Let's head towards
Yeah,
the
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury. You know what I'm saying? The Tor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sight that on our way in. One time I thought we were lost, was going around and round like in
Oh yeah.
in circle. But it's like the spirits of probably the ancestors or whoever were taking us around and showing us more than we had bargained for, but
Mm-hmm.
also delivering us where we ought to be on time so that we join up back with our brothers and sisters or fellow groups that had gone ahead of us,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, I think when we actually got when we got to where we got to Chalice Well, no, actually went into the Abbey to where the Abbey was,
Yeah.
and which is basically in the town. Now, I'd been there before, so it was familiar territory. But other than from there onwards, everywhere else was relatively new. I hadn't been to the Chalice Wells, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And I think we separated. I don't know if you'd experienced a Chalice Well.
I did. I went there. Well, not the year. Am I saying a couple of months back before? Yes, I got in the summer. August was doing the whole Lionsgate portal period, so it was beautiful there, and
Okay,
it's
well,
got
maybe you could
yeah.
let the listeners know because it's not familiar to myself. I basically spent the time around the well. I walked through the garden and that, but I didn't really have anybody to guide me through the significance of. There's one point where there was I can't even know how to describe it, but there was a chain, and there was a tree that had a great opening. It looks very much like a womb,
Mm.
But there's so much
Uh,
going on in there that it's like you need the whole day, in order
yeah.
to capture the
Take it
moment.
on.
But it's definitely a peaceful place, a place of meditation. But my time was spent primarily around the well.
Yes. Yes. Um, the well. I do have a book on the whole Charlie, so I don't have it at hand. But just the little background history I remember is it's one of the most ancient wells and sacred wells in the UK, and there's the water there is healing. Um, it's very I think it's linked. I think it's a white and a red water well, that kind of fuses or runs through to make the water as the healing and mystical and magical as it is, with all of its benefits. And so it's a lovely place, like you're saying, to go and to meditate and to be still. And it
Hmm.
is shaped, and particularly in the world of it is shaped like almost a goddess. When you look at it, it looks like the bottom of a woman's, the bottom half of a woman's thighs and legs. So
Okay.
it's connected to the feminine and to the goddess around there, because wells have always been considered to be linked with the divine goddess, divine mother, giving that life nourishing waters that sustains us. So again, a lot of a lot of Glastonbury has that very feminine goddess energy, and sort of goddess worship that goes on. A lot of groups and people that tap into that go there for that. So Chalice Wells, yeah, and the wells are again sacred places, and we will find them in the Bible. It also brings it. it kind of is like an emotional outlet as well. So sometimes, because again, well is like water, it can be associated with tears, so it's like that release. And when I was at Chalice for the first time, I remember there's always an in the biblical story of where Jacob, Israel, meets his wife, his soon-to-be wife, Rachel, and he meets her at a well when she was drawing water. And that's quite symbolic. And then when he sees her, he falls in love and he weeps. And so that's also symbolic of when you go to a well, you are met with something greater and with destiny, and it opens up your heart.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
So wells are quite sacred, significant places that does again cleanse, open us, and empower us as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna take you then on to when we went into Glastonbury, the town
Mm.
itself, and I'm gonna take you to the dragon, because I noticed
Mm.
you'd made a post during the course of this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were saying the red dragon, but what we saw there was a black dragon. So I wasn't aware that there is a red dragon as an example, other than what you'd probably see on cartoons on the TV. You know.
Yeah, that the thing why I wrote about during the week was to do with in Mayan cosmology, the Mayan US, South American indigenous tribe group having ancient also linked to the Olmec African connections.
Hmm.
There's different calendars and they have different cycles, different time periods that they follow. And so this week, last week, rather, on the 15th of December, it marks a new year. They have they follow a 260-day calendar also called the Zolkin. And so it's just like when we have our new year. So they have periods called castles, which are very equivalent to our month.
Hmm.
And so what happened? So basically, on the 15th of December, we had entered a new time cycle following that count, and the first month is considered, it's known as the Red Dragon. So when I made the connection, and I was thinking, because that was one of the last phases that you took us to see that black dragon. And like they say, everything is everything. And I remember when we went, when me and somebody else went into Chalice Wells bookstore, I saw a book on George and the Dragon. That was one of the first things that I saw. So, sometimes we get these little signs and symbols. And then when I refer back to the calendar, I realized, oh, this is a new cycle. So the whole dragon thing was a precursor to this is another next time, another next phase. So that's why I wrote and said what I did. So again, and this Zolkin calendar cycle, it connects again to the feminine. It's linked to birth, and the dragon represents the feminine, its ley lines, its birth, its power, its nurturing. So again, it was just all signs that I was seeing that we were there for a reason when we were there 2 days beforehand, and to help us tap into so the energies that were there. And also the dragon is very linked again also to Glastonbury. I think they have a dragon festival around May Day in the actual town as well. So like I said, everything is everything. So yeah, the dragon modes, and the dragon's been kind of coming up a lot for some people as well. So things kind of happen. We don't always know the links, but they're coming to us and different people around a certain time because of something. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I'm open to interpretation. I've got to rely upon credible information, and I think that obviously, from what I've come to understand, your information is credible, So I just cherish and what do you say appreciate the fact that I was in your company, and to
Oh, okay,
better
thanks.
understand, because I was there in the summer, summer solstice, when I was in Glastonbury. I took my hat off and I just put it on the dragon's head, Yeah,
Oh
because
wow, wow.
I associate the dragon as some bad boy, and
Yes,
even whilst I was there and he's got the ball in his hand, my only concern
hmm
was to be seen to be just taking back my things.
yes, yes.
So
And that is also what the dragon represents. It's there's that power, that force. It's a bad boy and a bad girl to take back.
yeah,
It's
so I akin it to like they've taken, it's like they've stolen so much things from us, and guard it with this mystical or myth that, I said, something, the way I feel right now, it's about time we just take back with things. Because again, like you've indicated that there is some element of biblical spiritual connection to all of these things. And again, you've mentioned again, like with Bob, and we've always gone by the belief that if your heart is pure and clean, then the power is with you to do anything because you're doing it in harmony, in peace, and is in love.
That's
So
right.
there's no forces to be afraid of.
That's right.
Irrespectful.
That's
So
right.
yeah, it was quite what do you say, educational, to see the spin that yourself had put on it. I had visited that particular area last time with Galactic Clyde, and he was basically educating us every step of the way. But because we were, I think, somewhat behind time a little bit, and the town was more or less shut down, because when we was in Glastonbury last time, it was just after the coronavirus lockdown was hitting, you know.
Right.
So it was a different experience, and it was summer, so everybody was more embracing. There was people on the street playing music, and we made our contribution that way. But again, it was interesting to see as to how yourself and the lady in the shop had bonded. So what
Yes,
did you
it
take away
was.
from there?
Oh, she was absolutely lovely, Karen at the Stone Age, and I have to say thank you, brother, because when I was in Glastonbury in the summer, I didn't see this stuff. I didn't know about this dragon, so I give thanks to you for showing us and taking us, and that was the last point before we actually left. So I give thanks, I give thanks to you for that. Yes, for showing me the dragon and the store with that wonderful lady there. So give thanks because I totally missed it. I wouldn't have known. So give
Yeah,
thanks.
well,
Give
well,
thanks
being
to you for
honest, my
that.
sole purpose of going there was to get a souvenir, because the last time I was there, I'd bought a ring, which was at the beginning, and I wanted was to crown it with another souvenir at the end. Yeah, so I can look and I
Right.
can reflect and see the significance of that. But again, with yourself, it's good to get the two different perspective, because the last time again it was Galactic Clyde, which is a male, and this time it was yourself, which is a female. So the balance is complete,
Yes,
So
yes.
I didn't think about it that way, but it worked out that way, and everything being in balance. Again, I have to give God thanks. I'll give the spirits, ancestors, the thanks for
Absolutely.
having given me that motivation or that intuitive spirit in order to operate in the manner that I've done, because I'm very much spiritually led. I've come to
Yes, yes,
realize,
yes.
and
You
and
are, brother.
and that's the way it is, you know.
And I give thanks for that. And it wasn't easy because we hadn't eaten the whole day, and then we needed to be eating back to get back to use the price to get to the radio. So
Yeah,
I give thanks for following the sacrifice as well as we not being able to
well,
eat. So
again, I'm gonna thank you, because you being in the front seat enabled me, or for us all, yeah, but by us having the conversation, because it's so important to keep your alertness, and that comes about through the conversation. Yeah, because
oh,
otherwise, is that part of you shut down, and then you go in a slumber, and then you don't
yes,
know what then happens. So
yes.
again, you know, the powers that be put yourself in our company in order for us was to get home safely.
Oh, this time. So
Yeah,
you are the one who got us there safely, brother, with your driving and your diligence, and
Yeah, but
everything. You know,
yeah,
you're on point. So
no,
give
no, no,
thanks
no,
to
no,
each
no.
other.
I'm not gonna have that because there's other forces that surrounding about us. Because
Of
we
course.
went up to the Thor,
Mm.
yeah, which again I understand. You at one point almost
I've got,
turned back.
I'm gonna go down. I was gonna go down. I was. Oh my gosh, it was. Oh, shout out to the wonderful sister Teresa. Um, she was amazing. She supported me and got me up that last final hurdle. Because when we were going up, as you know, brother, it was very windy that day, and you just felt the force. And I was like, our sister was even walking with a drum. And I was just amazed how sister was going up against that force with the drum. And she was doing it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be taken out. This wind is going to come and lick me somewhere else. And I thought, oh, no, I can't do this, I can't do this. But then with sister's support and love, and I said to myself, Mum, it's your mind over matter. You can do this. You've got sisters out there. Everybody else has done it, has made it up there. So you're going to make it to that pinnacle. You're going to reach. And that is kind of what got me there. And I'm so glad I didn't turn back, because I mean I kind of struggled the first time as well, but last week was a different ball game. But it was beautiful, and it was a challenge. You know, sometimes they say, the hardest things are when you overcome it. It's like the sweetest thing at the end. So that's what it felt like. So
Yeah, it's the sweetest thing. But all the journey, all the way up, indicated that you needed to brace yourself, because definitely there was forces up there.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
and again it takes us back to the natural mystic blowing in that wind. Yeah, because there was a force. I mean, I had also hold on to my hat. The last time I was up there, I lost my glasses,
oh
and
wow,
there's a part to the stick which I have, which forms a seat that prevents it from sinking into the soil, into the earth. I lost that. Yeah. So every time I'm realizing that if I wasn't careful this time, it was gonna take something. I mean, one time I lost my rag, and I really had to say to myself, is it really worth it, or do
yeah.
I let them take it? You know. But I was determined this time, and I say, something. This time I come here, I'm gonna be taken back, because you took from me the last time, so I'm gonna balance it out.
Yes,
You
yes.
know. So yeah, we managed to get up there, and then having gotten up there, again I put my stick down, put my seat down, I took my drum out, and then from the moment I took my drum out, because it's like I went through a little ritual in getting it out, yeah, and then from I started, I know the vibration, was going to
Yeah.
be something else. And then at one point playing, I closed my eyes, and then having closed my eyes, I heard these birds.
Wow.
And then when I look up, there was pigeons. There's about 3 birds actually. Yeah, there's 3 birds right at the top, just perch, and they were chirping, because it's a chirping
Wow.
which I heard.
Wow. Oh.
It's a chirping I heard. So it's like they must have heard the bass, the music, and they actually came and perched
To
themselves
take it
there.
in. Take it in as well.
And to take, I'm saying that was really extraordinary,
That
you know?
it is wow.
You,
That it is magical, and the drumming was on the next level, and the saxophone, our saxophone brother, it was amazing. It just took it to a different vibrationally element. It opened up the chakras, our heart chakras even more. It was beautiful.
yeah,
It was next
yeah,
level, and
yeah.
I just yeah.
And you,
So
you,
that
you,
was
you noted again whose songs we were singing.
yes, our Bob. Our Bob. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we were singing
exactly.
Bob Marley. There was about 3 different songs that we went through. And the thing is
That's
that we
right.
were, at a point, we were again in harmony. It's like we knew all the words.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we knew the words,
We just busted it
and
out, turned it out.
the last time again I was up there, it was just like myself and Galactic Clyde that was actually playing the drums. But this
Right.
time I think there was probably about as much as 8 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was more powerful, and
Yes.
what had been said from the last time. It was the best experience they'd had the last time, but I think this time it even surpassed the last time we were up there playing the drums. You
Yeah.
know, I think the last time we had more crowd because it was the summer solstice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people had naturally gathered. Yeah,
Mhm.
but this time when we start thumping that bass, it actually drew people up the hill.
Yeah. It did. It
Yeah,
did.
it drew people up the hill
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I remember meeting somebody on the way down and telling that we're going to be playing music, and the speed to which she went down that hill and come back up. I don't know how it is that we seem to have struggled, but she was somebody who was local, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, it was something. It was heartwarming,
Was.
and I left there confident, as was the last time, that if there was ever any evil intention intended, yeah, by any forces, you know,
It was
we
run
were
out.
there. Yeah, we was there chanting it down. I left there
Yeah.
confident that
Yeah.
nothing really bad or evil is gonna prevail. Yeah. So to tomorrow again is gonna be a new chapter where the expectation is that everything is gonna come into alignment, and from there, yeah, a new dawning, you know, a new arising,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, but just as you're saying all this, again, with going up the tour, and like you said, that you know, that spirit, that wind, and again, it comes back to air. You know, it's that air frequency, that air energy, and you know, in like X-Men, you know that the character Storm,
So,
in the movie played by Halle Berry, and yeah, Storm is she has the power of like the wind. And in Yoruba, in Africa, Nigeria, the traditional magical nature, spiritual, religion practice, spiritual practice, there's a goddess called Oya,
oh yeah,
goddess of Oya, and she's a goddess of the wind, the ancestors, and of change and transformation. And I remember kind of saying, going up there, this is Oya, this is Oya in
okay,
her manifestation. So again, Oya, and you know, it's like, you know, the winds of change. They talk about the winds of change, the air element, and tomorrow, like you're saying, we're ushering in a wind of change, new dawn, and you know, the air. So again, it's like being there last week was a kind of precursor to what we're kind of going to be facing and what's happening tomorrow.
tomorrow,
You know,
yeah,
days. So it's like going out there was a challenge, that wind, you get up against the element, you think, oh my God. So once we got there, it was still waters, and it was like, yes, it was beautiful.
yeah. But remember, when we were on our way in, it was possible to see the mist.
Yes,
Remember the mist that was surrounding it on the top of the
yes,
hill, you know? So that
yes,
mist then become a mystery. And
that's
having
right,
conquered the mountain, that mystery unfolded itself
right,
to joy for us, because
that's
obviously we were
right,
there dancing in spirit and again in truth, you
that's
know?
right,
So
that's
it
right.
all became a real revelation.
It
Yeah.
was, it was. The last chapter was. Everything is revealed in the last
Yeah,
stage, the last
everything was revealed. And then for myself now, on the descent, yeah, when I came down, because I didn't, I remember Galactic Clyde got get what was mistletoe at the Chalice Well,
yeah, yeah,
and I hadn't gotten any because there's so much mistletoe in Glastonbury. It's just I had sighted a tree on the way in, and I don't know if it was an apple tree, but it looks as though it was a fruit tree, and it was relatively low. So I had
uh-huh,
planned in my mind that I was going to try and find this tree and climb.
uh-huh,
Yeah, but at the foothill, yeah, of the tour on the way down, I so happened to see a tree by the fence, and because I had the seat I had as a hook on it, yeah, it meant to enable me to use that and to pull down on the branch, and that's where I got my mistletoes and from.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's having conquered the hill at the descent.
Yes.
That's when I
Yes.
decide now to take back
Yes.
from
Take
what I
back.
had,
Yes.
what he had, the mountain had taken from me previously.
Yes.
You
Take
know.
back.
So I was able
Wow.
to take back the mistletoe at that point and to share it amongst those who was around. And again, even today, again gave to my daughter, and I've given to other family and friends. You know.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it was a phenomenal experience that I'm happy to have shared with yourself, and I'm happy to share with the listeners out there,
Thank
as a
you.
means of comfort, as a means of an assurance to you, the listeners, that the times that we are in, as mysterious, as mystical, you know, having been up there and embraced a lot of what Bob Marley had been singing, and as you've rightly identified to us, him being an Aquarius, that natural mystic continue, but now our eyes are opened, and it's going to be even more so open tomorrow with the alignment which is going to take place. And I can only give you thanks for the understanding, then say, to which you've put to it all, and
Please
that
take back.
we
Yeah.
have been educated, you know, and I would say I look forward to our further journey, you know, and if at all
Definitely.
possible again tomorrow, you
Oh,
know.
that'd be beautiful.
But
Sorry, could I also just say a quick thing also with Glastonbury, what makes it even so much more magical and linking with the whole astrology. In 1920s, and there was a woman called Catherine Moulton, and she basically like to do research, and she found that there was a connection with the whole layout of the area of Glastonbury in alignment with the actual 12 zodiac signs. So
Zodiac.
certain, yeah, with our
Okay,
zodiac.
you
So
said
if you
Catherine Melford.
Maltwood, sorry, Maltwood. And so if anybody wants to do more research, the Glastonbury zodiac. So the key areas, streams, landscapes are all aligned with what they found, what's been found to the zodiac. So it's like a miniature reflection of the heavens with our ecliptic belt in Glastonbury. So again, I think that's one of the other powers, that when you're in that beautiful area, that beautiful place, you're near to the heavens, you know, have that piece of heaven right here on earth. So
Yeah, well, again, that is evident at the Thor, because I think Galactic Clyde had shared with us that it's on the same par insofar as elevation as the pyramids.
yes, that's right. Yes, yes. Hence the high, yes, it is wow.
Yeah, and
That's
again, we saw it
powerful.
demonstrated in the mist when we were coming in, you know, so it was up in amongst like the clouds.
That's right. That's right. How high? You don't realize it's how high. That's true.
Yeah,
It's a magical, mystical, wonderful.
yeah, and maybe that's what I'd put you off, because when you're at the foothill and you look up, it looks very steep.
It does. Yes. It does.
And it's
Really.
all
Wow.
round. So if you lose your footing, yeah, it
Yeah.
is a roll.
Yes, exactly. The rolling car breaks down.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That is
So
very exactly.
this time round, we had also stick to the path.
Yeah.
The reason why I lost my things the last time is I did not stick to the path.
Oh.
Yeah, I was wandering up on the edges. You know, I took it as a challenge. You know,
Oh.
yeah. But yeah, anything else, my sister, that you want to impact on myself as well as our listeners?
Not going to touch all. There's always so much we could discuss, but no, but I think we kind of we covered good ground. And again, I just want to say, yeah, thank you to you, brother, and thank you even to Galactic Pride for organising it, and the wonderful people that were there. Wonderful Glastonbury that just made it a magical day, and this magical, wonderful time that we're in. And yeah, give thanks. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to
And
share that.
I'd like to again echo that in return to yourself, And as I was saying before, that I look forward a possibility of us uniting again tomorrow with again our ancestors in a place. I know I've got a tambourine, so that is something that would be accessible for yourself. I will be traveling with my drums. Following on from Glastonbury last week, I think on the Tuesday and the Wednesday that I've mentioned before, I've inherited 52 drums,
Oh wow.
and that's not all. I've also inherited drums in 5 schools, which may well amount to over an additional 200, which
Oh
will go
wow.
towards the 1,000 drums that we intend to make use of during the summer months
Oh
in order to
yeah.
set about that positive vibration, saluting
Mm-hmm.
our ancestors, you know. So yeah,
Beautiful.
that's one of the things I may well have come out of the wishing well,
Yes.
in my
Wow.
meditation.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah,
Powerful.
in my
Beautiful.
meditation. So I'm happy to be able to share that with you, the listeners out there. So we're looking for people that can play the drums, who are keen to learn to play the drums, and we would also like to be able to impact it on you that you've got a drum in your home, because if you've got that, it affords you a meditation. Yeah,
It
as like
does.
with the Naya Bingi, you'd be able
Mm-hmm.
to chant and connect with your spirituality, you know. So yeah, I'd like to give thanks to yourself and to leave that with you. And if
Thank
at
you,
all
my brother.
possible, yeah, as I said, we will link up tomorrow. So do feel free to give me a call tomorrow on the
Okay.
points that you had raised or we had raised earlier, as to the
Exactly.
possibility to see the, what is it, the sundown, or this, yeah, it will be a sundown?
Well, when people will be able to see, hopefully, to see the alignment. It starts from 4:30 to around 6:37, but it will still be visible for the next couple of days. So if
Couple of
anybody
days.
doesn't get it, well, if you look out, go on the internet, go on the net, there'll be locations where you can navigate yourself to try
Okay, and
and
the best
see it.
place for that would be at the highest point, similar to the Thor.
Not necessarily, no. Well, I mean, because of the lockdown, obviously things are quite restricted. That's why people, obviously, we want to keep people in their yard
In the
and
yard,
follow
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
restrictions.
People, they must stand out in the yard.
Unfortunately. But it can still, but that's not going to stop it. That's not going to stop the heavenly, accessing of that. So even, so even in their, in their homes, going for their walk, just, navigate, look up and try and see around the times before the sun goes down, between 4 and 6, 7 in the evening. There's a global meditation tomorrow that is happening. I'll probably did I send you the link earlier, brother?
Yeah, you did send me the link.
Okay, yeah, I think that's from 10 a.m. So many people are sending out, and I think there's a spiritual ritual that's happening in Australia. I hope it's still happening.
Okay.
The
And what was the time? What was the time for that global meditation?
From 10 a.m. I think. Let me just double check. I think. Global meditation, December 21st, World Spirit Day, Winter Solstice, at 10 a.m. There's a live broadcast that will start at the planetary alignment.
Okay.
But that, I don't know, that's probably because that's their time frame. But if any of the listeners want to Google or look more into that, even in the comfort people time, they can still tap in, just meditate and attune to the energy, and send out that global force with love and power and upliftment and hope.
Okay.
Okay, my brother. Give thanks. Thank you for having me on today, and give thanks
Yeah,
for all that you do,
my
for your
pleasure.
work.
Yeah, and we forward in this generation
That's it.
triumphantly.
That's right. That's right. Now it's the time. Coming the time and the hour. Definitely, yes.
Yes.
Give thanks.
Okay. All right. So
All
we've
right,
linked
brother.
soon. Yeah.
Yes, definitely,
Okay.
brother.
All
All
right.
right
All
then.
right. Blessed
Thanks.
love.
Bye bye, listeners.
Yeah. Blessed.
Thanks, love.
Day after day, I pray and I pray that we could all just learn to live and love one another. A world without no wars, no boundaries, because we need to learn more of the meaning of sharing and caring. Everyone needs someone, yeah. Remember that to no man is an island. Oh no. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Let me know. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Show love. Love. Yeah. Show love. Yeah. It's what the children need. Show some love. Show some love. Yeah. Yes, you know that we need all of the love we can get. Now together we go on. Our nation is so strong. Let us move on hand in hand to the promised land. Step in one accord, giving eyes to our Lord. No matter how times are, we must get our reward. Sometimes it's so hard to see where you're going. So you got to remember where you're coming from. Overstanding is the only thing that keeps the world turning. Words of righteousness will always live on. Yes, they will. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Show love. Love. Yeah. Show love. Yeah. That's what the children need. Show love. Love. Yeah. Yes, you know that we need all of the love we can get. Oh, yeah. Show some love. Show some love. Oh, yeah. Everyone needs someone. Remember that to no man is an island, you know. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand. Yeah. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Yes, you are. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. I said it's what we need. Show love. Show love.
Yes, family, it's all about showing some love. You know, that's what we need, particularly in this time when I'm tell yourself a ton of your yard. Yeah? But you know it going it not all of we can stay indoors, because if we all stay indoors it's gonna get a bit too congested, because some of we just can't stand with one another. You know what I'm saying? But we're not gonna deal with that right now. Yeah? Right, we're coming to the end part. Again, I apologize for the stopping in the place as to where things was, but oftentimes everything happens for a reason. See, so it was my intention to avoid Graham in the studio. I've since had a call from Mom, so that call that you see that was had. It was from Mum, so I've just got to touch base with her. It's just around the corner, so it's not an inconvenience. So I may well be doing so. But yeah, with the program, again, we've more or less come to a close. Yeah? But again, you know, I'm wearing a different t-shirt tonight. This one says Concept to Wrath, which is WRATH, and on the back it says up to know God. Yeah, so quite clearly we're in the God time now, because yeah, it's not the fear of man. Yeah, we're reverting back to the fear of God, and God is our true nature. Okay, so we need to be there, and God is love. Yeah, so when we talk about love, we're talking about one love, and that is a love for humanity and everybody, the puss, the dog, yeah, and the birds and the bees. Yeah, because intuitively, yeah, we can all and we do all communicate, and it would indicate that that communication is through music. Yeah, but the mind and the body have to be at peace and in harmony, and with that harmony you get that vibration, that frequency, yeah, that wave. No matter how you look and decorate it, that's still the same thing. Yeah, you understand? And that is science. Yeah, you hear the politicians say them a wait for the science, but it don't make sense you wait for the science if you don't understand the science. Okay? And we are looking to revert back to the original science, which is the heartbeat, the vibration. Yeah, that frequency. Yeah, that which the drum generate. You understand? So as I was saying, I was privileged to have collected 50 drums, which I've got in the house. Why, wifey, yeah, please just bear with me a little bit here. they will be allocated. Yeah, because I'm have to come out of the house. Okay? But I'm pressing the center manager, Edmonton Green, and I'm also pressing on my MP. Yeah, you have to come and give some assistance. You understand? Because come summer, those of you who are in rehab, okay, we're not going to need some real love injection, yeah, which is the vibration. Okay? So, respect, manners goes out to Juke Basie, yeah, Brother Mandingo. Yeah, there's a whole heap of people that, have to make some salute to. These people I'm looking forward to getting to know more better. You understand? Because of the task at hand. You understand? So we have the drums, and like me say, it's also in the school, so the picnic can learn as well. Yeah. My aim is to get near and get up to the 1,000 drums. You understand? There's some internal politics are going, but we're not deal with that right now. Yeah. We are deal with, well, me personally, I deal with the spirit of my good brother Douglas Williams, who brought me into the studio to do the works. Yeah? And he's provided Galactic Clyde, Mama Essie, Solonetary, Solutionary 007, and there's many of you out there. Anybody to do it, Brother Dougie, it means to say on have a key, on have a little thing, you can knock on the door, knock on my door and say, well, right now, I want to do that for my good brother. You understand? From who can say that, me and who can work. Yeah, because me's a man who work in spirit and in truth. Yeah, I'm not into the ego. Yeah, and respect and salute goes out to Brother Vasco Stevenson, who has given me the full explanation of ego in the most simplest term which I come to understand. And ego is when you edge God out. Yeah, so now if we just understand that, so now if we just humble on ourselves and make we do what we have to do. Yeah. In addition to that, I'd like to pay respect to my counterbalance, and that is Miss Jacqueline Morrison, who we had met a bump up at a drumming session, and it's like we forever are making that connection. So she's going to make me understand myself better insofar as the Morrison. Okay, so family, manners, and respect. So I'm hoping that family that you've been able to take away from today's time in the studio with myself, to the extent that you've come to know yourself a little bit better by our astrological connection, in how we had journeyed, particularly last week. And again, I apologize. I did get back to the studio, but management had said to me, albeit I was late, that it is going to be far better, more meaning, and more purposeful if I was to go home and get some rest. Yeah. So, manners and respect to management. Thank you for affording me the time in the studio and allowing of enough is enough this platform to enable us to vent our learning as well as some of our concerns, then say. Yeah. My respect goes out to all the youths them out there. I wish you all the best for the season. I wish you peace, love, and harmony. I wish you the mindset to embrace what it is that the generals will be putting together in the near future as to how we engage with the institutions, the so-called powers that be, to address the injustices to which you are presently encountering. And we ask of you that you show some love amongst your own peer groups and you put away these foolishness, because you can see that having those foolishness under lockdown is a bigger problem, because now you don't even have nowhere to hide it. You understand? So these are the telltale signs to which I'm trying to touch base on. In addition, I have not been promoting the shirts. I've got a different shirt on today, as I've said. I've got Concept to Wrath. This particular shirt was done in Jamaica because there is a program which I'd initiated down in Jamaica. This one says WRATH, and we're dealing here with the wrath of God, where God is not best pleased with mankind. He is concerned about our well-being, where our relationship lies, our attitude, where we put our trust, find our truth, and where our hopes and aspiration lies. You can see we can't put any hope in our government because them lie, and them thief. Yeah? Them lie and them thief. And thief no love to see thief with long bag. So you see this Brexit thing that we call Vexit? Them vex. Yeah? Because all they vex about is money. Nothing else. Are just money. That's all them vex about. But you see, everything is coming into alignment and they have been exposed. Again, it would appear to be said same thing at Jamaica. Yeah? But one of them come out this week and say, make we sit back and wait and watch them idiots, they are foreign. Yeah? Make them go and experiment on themselves, and then when we see the outcome, then we can do likewise if needs be. Now, that's what I call a smart politician. You understand? Learn from experience. Yeah? Now, there's another thing that me realize that Jamaica start take back flights from British Airways. Now, me not see no sense in that, you know, because if anybody contaminated, yeah, are them who are going to come in. And further to that, you see, when them start do them British Airways normal flight, that means it's like how them are going to deport. Yeah, them are going to deport the deportees. Them are going to put them on normal plane. You understand? So when you see them do them things, there's another trick. Yeah, it's another trick them are come with. You understand? Only this one, it's not going to be so obvious. Yeah, because when you think so, you stop this plane, then put them on the next one. Yeah, so people, family, just be mindful as to how these people operate. Everything them do, yeah, them have a strategy. Yeah, so we have to be able to counteract that. Yeah, so my salute again to all those who have lost loved ones. I think I ran into Ghetto Dan must have Saturday, and he made mention of a brother that I went to Archway School with by the name of Clive. Yeah, likewise myself. And I remember, I think it's Wilson. Yeah, so family, respect and manners. My Edmonton community, respect and manners. If it does get to my MP, I wish you all the best for the season. Yeah, and look forward to the encounter on the other side. Yeah, as the planets they align themselves, but at the same time, in so saying, I would like a quickish response in order to make sure I can maintain some peace in my house because me have too much drumming at the house right now. You understand? So I need your help and support so that the community can benefit. I had already been to see the center manager as I'd mentioned, and we just need to press the right buttons. Yeah. Insofar as the T-shirts are concerned, my number. I'm gonna give you a number. Yeah. Listen this. 07530 101 299. Okay? That's 07530 101 299. Yeah, because we need to make these T-shirts a present to our community because the whole are not fed up like me. Yeah? And enough is enough. Yeah, and for our youngsters, I want them to be proud to wear it because what we're affording you is real, active, structured, supported solutions. Yeah, so I'm hoping that we, the generals, are going to be able, yeah, to put this thing together and to come right at you. Yeah, so let me just play things out and gather everything up. Yeah, so my family, till next time. Obviously, by this time next week, Christmas done. You know? And as I had shared with you before, right now, Santa and Christmas are in tears. Yeah? They must cry out loud for them one another that nobody now make no how much money them now make, you know what I'm saying? But we have to show the love. Yeah? Yeah, we have to.
Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away.
Yes, the runaway slave has got to go. You know, I've got to go back to the family. As a matter of fact, I'm going to phone mom right now, see what's up. And then I've got to touch base with Graham because I hear say he wasn't feeling too well. That's what the girlfriend did say, you know what I'm saying? But after he spent a night in a them place, I'm not surprised, you know, just have to charge up in battery, yeah? So, may I run away, yeah? Family, blessed love.
Just where the river Nile she flow, higher reason we die hiding, where we observe from afar. Many ships sailing on the horizon, we never knew how were we to know. Wicked man was coming to spoil our meditation. With his brutality, he led us away in the shadows and chains. But so far, far away, will I ever see my home again? But even though I'm in a strange land, and you made things so rough, do you think I would ever give up? Country, but when he knew I was missing once more, he sent his devil dogs them out to find me. The faster I go, the more I hear my own heart beat inside me. And that's how I know the brainwash education couldn't hold me. I've met many more soldiers on my way.
Yeah, remember again, t-shirts, if you need them, Edmonton Green, Unit 17, Edmonton Green Market Square, okay? Other than that, make use of the number that I've given you, my peeps, yeah? Enjoy the season, enjoy your family, yeah? Keep yourself indoors as much as is possible. Make sure you get fresh air. And for those of you who obviously are gonna be drumming, yeah, you know the place to be. Yeah, we will see, we will meet, we will embrace, we will spread the joy, we'll salute our ancestors. You understand? The work is in their hands. Yeah, so manners and over and out.
It's gonna take some time before we all can see the change that surrounds our minds are killing us slowly. I've got to get out of here, cause this has never been a love affair. Our children keep dying in the streets. No matter how hard some try, some say it's to no avail. Youth's got to recognize the motherland again. I'm living in a danger zone, so far away from home. Look how they're taking advantage of we yeah. Oh, Babylon, you're wrong, so wrong, so wrong. A power gun, hold on. I said your judgment won't be long. Oh, brother man, be strong. Put down your weapon, oh Lord. Cause divide and rule is the wicked one's master plan. Why, oh, many have lost their lives fighting for the cause. And though so many know not what they're fighting for, many warriors have been compromised, bought with the riches and the lies. And so the killings increase more and more. Yeah. Hatred only makes hatred multiply. And for so long we've seen cause of color many good men die. So if they knew what life was worth, they would do good with their time on earth. One and all must unify. Tell them, oh Babylon, you're wrong, so wrong, so wrong. A power gun, hold on. I say your judgment won't be long. Oh brother man, be strong. No matter what a man complexion, oh Lord. Cause divide and rule is the wicked one's master plan. Their master plan. Only spells destruction for I and I. Yeah, we got to come together to overcome the brainwash mentality, you know. Break these chains that hold I down, hold I down. Oh Babylon, you're wrong, so wrong, so wrong. A power gun, hold on. I said your judgment won't be long. Oh brother man, be strong. Put down your weapon, oh Lord. Cause divide and rule is the wicked one's master plan. Oh Babylon, you're wrong, so wrong, so wrong. Oh power gun, hold on. I said your judgment won't be long. Oh brother man, be strong. Don't judge a man by his complexion. Oh, no.